Hello and welcome to the first game of this best out of 3 to decide which one of these two teams will be dropped to the loser bracket, because will it be KP or will it be Uebelst? It is the round number 1 match for Group B for the Corsair Gaming Summer Tournament, and it is of course GSL style, so mini double elimination with the top 2 teams moving through to the playoffs and the other 2 getting left behind. One will be left behind tonight when we see the loser bracket round number 1 matchup. The other one will be left behind tomorrow, because that's when the brackets continue, with the winner's bracket first and the loser bracket to follow. For now though, KP and Uebelst will be fighting to see who will go up against Fnatic and who will go up against TCM, because that was the matchup of the previous round. I won't say who won or who lost, because if you want to know that, you should watch the VODs. Don't want to have spoilers in this one. And of course, I will introduce to you the team that I am here with to provide you with all the coverage that you want and need. It is the music that is providing you with all the stats inside the game. You won't hear him, but you'll see what he does. And the one that you will hear, it is, of course, Kanaz, my co-caster. Welcome back.
Good to be back.
So, Tree and Protector.
Yep, Tree and Protector.
Yep. Of course, for people wondering, by the way, because I know that Uebelst is maybe a bit unknown for people, it actually exists of people that have been around for ages. In the captain slot is actually Alex, of course, formerly Mouse player. We've got Ed in there, or Edward, who has been around the German scene for ages, as well as Armen, who we have seen standing in for a lot of German teams. And actually, we have seen him stand in for Na'Vi lately as well. And exists in Natural as well there. So, and one thing I want to just point out, Kanaz, I casted the Star Series with you a lot as well. We had KP in there as well, but we never, ever saw Arteezy in there. I have never casted Arteezy before in my life, while I have casted plenty of matches for KP, but he is actually here.
Yeah, I assume it's summer break finally in Canada. I don't really know how the Canadian school system works.
It's a weird system.
I don't know. It's probably summer break, so he should be around. I'm presuming that's the case, since it's like noon on a Monday and he's around.
Yeah, it's unusual.
So yeah, hopefully they play well with him. They played pretty well without him sometimes. They had a couple different stand-ins. Sometimes it was Sing Sing. Sometimes it was guy I'm having trouble. Garter, there we go. Guy who plays Magnus is all.
Yeah, he played Magnus a ton.
He played a lot of Magnus in that tournament, even though that hero doesn't really get picked anymore after the nerfs. But yeah, Arteezy plays somewhat different heroes than both of those two players did. We see like Zeus and the like from him. More aggressive heroes, I guess. So we'll see what they go with this game. And yeah, it's exciting to see them with their full lineup, because we didn't get to cast it much, just because of how Starladder worked.
Yep. We are pretty far into the draft already. We've got a Wisp and a Batrider banned out, which is pretty standard, and then the Nyx Assassin and a Visage banned out against KP. Not really standard, but interesting to see that. Another support getting banned out by Uebelst, which is the Bane, and then also the OD that they don't want to pick up themselves. We have a Viper ban out that you don't want to see together with that Tree and Protector, and a Dragonite is another one that KP decided to remove from the pool. Pickups, I mean, Tree and Protector and Weaver up on Uebelst, we know that combination. It is scary and it is annoying to deal with. And we'll see if that's indeed a Weaver on the off lane and a Tree then on the safe lane, pulling and stacking and such. And Darkseer Rubik Gyro for KP right now, as Gyro is actually one of the more played carries that Eternal Envy plays. Next to Anti-Mage, which is actually the hero that he has highest success rate with. In 6.78, let me rephrase that.
In 6.78, okay. Yeah, he plays a lot of carries, and Gyrocopter is one of the kind of preferred ones in the pool. With this most recent patch, he got nerfed a little bit, but it didn't really hit him that hard. And yeah, so we see a lot of him get picked up. Not really too surprised to see a team that likes carries so much as KP to go with it. And Anti-Mage going to be picked up from Uebelst, so they're going pretty hard here with what they're going to have, Weaver and Anti-Mage on the same team.
Yeah, it requires a very strong mid hero that will be able to basically buy some time for these two heroes to get some extra farm and basically prolong the laning stage a bit more. And Queen of Pain might be a hero that can do that, but we know that Arteezy is a pretty strong mid as well, so let's see what he is going to be playing up against that one. We still have the Puck in the pool. I'm going to expect that Uebelst is going to remove that out in their banning phase. We have a Shadow Demon for KP, of course. It's a bit of a counter towards the Anti-Mage, burning his mana. Are you expecting an aggressive tri lane from KP?
Uh, Not really. I wouldn't expect it with this lineup. Rubik, Shadow Demon as the two supports. That's kind of an awkward combo to have if you're going to try to run it as an aggressive tri lane. Gyrocopter obviously a fine carry in such a situation, but those two supports aren't really the most aggressive pair. They could try to run it regardless, and maybe they'll consider it once they see whatever the secondary support is that comes off from Uebelst. But yeah, I wouldn't expect it often, especially considering it's KP and
Yeah,
Eternal Envy almost always goes safe lane.
that is true.
We've seen him go aggressive a couple times, but it's not very often.
I'm kind of hoping it's gonna be an aggressive tri lane purely because then the Train Protector won't be that much of an issue because he'll be forced to living armor his lane all the time. That means that Weaver is a bit more vulnerable to Darkseer would be in that case. If that's not a mid Darkseer, which I'm assuming it's not, but you never know. And
If they pick up another carry here, they could run mid Darkseer like solo safe lane gyro, and then run an aggressive tri lane. We've seen that from KP before, where Envy will just be like solo safe lane on the gyro. But I don't know if they want to run that Darkseer mid, especially not really against Queen of Pain.
yeah, look at that, they just banned out the TA, so that means the puck is still on the pool for a mid, if they indeed want to do that. Like, of course, I mean, if they pick up a carry, I would like to see that, really. I would like to see an aggressive tri lane, but I think you are what you said earlier. I mean, it is KP, you know. Well, how much aggression can you expect from them? We've got a Crystal Maiden ban out by KP. Quite surprising that, because I was kind of expecting... Well, actually, normally you think like Rubik or Shadow Demon, but those two are both on the same team, which is also not very common. But a bit of a safe support. There's still the puck, so that's no surprise there. And one support left for Uebelst. Let's see what they're going to be going for, because they need a bit of a safe support that probably should have a disable as well, because they kind of lack disables at this moment. Maybe Vengeful Spirit wouldn't be too bad.
I don't really expect them to go with something like Venge. Maybe I mean, they certainly could if they wanted to just. The people tried Venge out for a while, and I don't think she's still that good, even with the most recent buffs. A lot more survivable, but her stun is still kind of underwhelming. It doesn't have a very good duration. Trying to think of who else was in the pool that would be pretty good. Like with Treant Anti-Mage as your tri-lane, they could pick up something that maybe just jungles.
Yeah, but they need disable, because the only thing they have is the overgrowth. And they were
That's
up
true.
against Telekinesis and a Disruption and a Dream Coil and a Silence and a Homing Missile. Can't really call it a Homing Missile, but did do it anyway. And I mean, it's pretty tough.
Yeah, it's true that they probably want some sort of stun here, and not just to be like, well, we're always going to get 5-man overgrowth and win the game that way, since that's obviously very unlikely. Maybe Jakiro could be in the pool. I'm not
Yeah,
missing Jakiro. Yeah, Jakiro's still in the pool if they wanted to grab that. It gives an Ice Path, some AoE,
true.
but I don't know. Lich, not a disable, though.
Not a disable. I'm actually kind of worried for them right now, because, I mean, Lich is a nice hero to play it safe, and he can, of course, deny experience to the Gyro, and what we saw earlier today as well was just Lich sitting behind a Weaver, and denying creeps there to the carry, which is pretty decent if you want to try to outfarm your opponent and, of course, delay them from going in. But later on in the game, if it goes even for the carries, I think Uebelst will be in a lot of trouble, but with this pickup as well, both teams actually lay a lot of pressure on that mid lane. The one who wins the mid lane will be able to move around earlier, will be able to make things happen across the map earlier, and will be able to, of course, shut their opponent's farming space down earlier.
Yeah, definitely. But KP, their lineup doesn't really need as much farm as Uebelst is, just because they have the Weaver and the Anti-Mage, and
Yeah.
both of those are pretty hungry for farm heroes. Whereas like Darkseer, he's likely to get farm no matter what you do, and his farm isn't super important. Like if he rushes a mechanism, it's very powerful for your team. If you eventually get something like Pipe, you know, all the better. And if he gets a lot of farm, he can grab all sorts of luxury items, Scythe, Shivas, what have you. I like how you don't wish good fight because you have a tree and Christmas is ruined.
I don't
Or
know, I
have
think
fun.
he's...
Oh, I think it's have fun. You don't wish us to have fun because you have a tree. I see.
Yeah.
The complaining about how tree is not fun, and he's kind of right. Tree
Yep.
isn't very fun. He's not even particularly fun to watch because he makes the game so much more passive, usually.
Yeah, well, he can make it... He can make it, Oh, and that's why he's there. Ortiz is from Canada, right?
Oh, and it's... Yeah, and I guess it's a holiday in Canada?
Yep.
Alright.
Well, then, that's why Ortiz can actually be here. That's nice, that's nice. We've got a Weaver, so Treant and Weaver, I think it can allow for maybe a bit more aggressive play from him. But that is the Radiant side that has a tree, so it will be Eid, or EDE that plays the Weaver here on this top lane. Natural will be denying a creep here on this top lane as well, playing the Lich. I'm expecting him to still rotate bottom though in the end. Exist will be playing the Queen of Pain in the mid lane. On the bottom lane we have RMN playing the Anti-Mage, and then the Treant Protector played by Alex for Uebelst, all on the Radiant side, and I'm not missing anybody. That was 5. Yay.
And on the Dire we're going to have KP. In the top lane we have Come With Me on the Rubik, along with Eternal Envy on the Gyrocopter. Mid lane going to be, of course, Arteezy on the Puck. And finally, bottom lane, we're going to have Bone 7 on the Darkseer, who's already getting some harass. And it looks like Pylai Dai's hanging out down here as well on the Shadow Demon to help him out. At least probably till he gets level 2.
Yeah, just because he picked up only the Iron Shell at first. Make sure he would be able to stand here, but actually having the Shadow Demon around there, it kind of makes for extra tough lineup for Armin. One thing we have to note though is that the Darkseer is of course a bit of a counter towards that Treant Protector, purely because that living armor will be picked off real fast from the Iron Shell, as we saw there. An attempt to deny experience from Pylai Dai didn't actually work out though, but was close. We are probably gonna see that more often, as that's of course one thing that he can do. And by the way, that's Armin already down very low on mana, purely by his own illusions. He actually picked up Mana Break level 1.
Yeah, probably unnecessary and maybe a little too aggressive. I think he picked it up mostly because they were going to go on Bone 7 there when he walked around there. The real problem there is that he ends up losing a lot of the mana himself because the Shadow Demon's hanging out down here.
Exactly.
And that Shadow Demon, I kind of expect him to just stay down here. I think they want to draw Lich away from that top lane. We saw this Lich Weaver dual lane earlier. I believe TCM played it as well, where they kind of just kept the off lane dual lane like this. Yeah, if they can draw the Lich away, it leaves the Weaver a lot weaker, and also starts giving more and more farm and experience to Eternal Envy. So it's going to be up to Uebelst to decide what they're going to want to do, if they're going to keep that Lich up there to deny farm from the Gyrocopter, or if they're going to have to come down here with him and try and save RMN, who is not really having a great time thus far.
Yeah, I will try to make the Germans a little bit more happy. Uebelst.
Uebelst? Uebelst.
Yeah. I think I pronounced it still a little bit wrong, but at least it's not Uebelst.
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 Yeah, we have a double damage rune up on Come With Me, by the way. He actually forces Exist a little bit away, and even though, like, you know, they're not gonna kill the Queen of Pain, but she is not last sitting right now, so Arteezy is getting a bit of a head start here. In the meantime, Disruption on the Anti-Mage again. Living Armor is gonna keep him up, but he won't be able to blink himself out. And that is gonna be, you know, that's just the most annoying thing. He probably wishes he hadn't picked up that Mana Break at level 1. Because he didn't see, like you said, like, didn't see the Shadow Demon at that point. Thought he was gonna go for a bit of aggression on Bone 7, and is now just getting harassed. And forcing the living armor up on that Anti-Mage all the time is kind of hurting the other two lanes. Or at least not allowing them to be as aggressive as they probably would want to be, since they have a tree on their team.
Yep, and they're just continuing to stay on the image. Probably that takes a ton of damage there as well. Maybe he didn't need to stay so close because he loses all of his mana to Animage, and he can't really burn Animage's mana when he doesn't have any. Now he's taking tower hits unnecessarily. Takes 4, loses half of his health.
And he is completely out of region as well, so that's gonna be tough. We have got a pulse coming off from Uebelst, and well, that top lane is actually going pretty well. In terms of having, like, experience, Weaver is level 3, Lich is level 3 as well. Now the last hits are not something to write home about. It is 7-4 for Eid, and the lane is also getting pulled, but at least the levels are actually quite decent. We only have level 3 up on Envy, with Come With Me still sitting at level 1. Of course, he visited the mid lane. But But yeah, it could have been worse. It could have been worse for sure. We do have all the last hits, the 2 highest in the court of KP though, with Darkseer as well as the Puck. So Arteezy winning mid very heavily. 17-10 up against 7-3 for the Queen of Pain.
Yeah, and that's just the support of Rubik. He knows that even if he's up there in that top lane all the time, he's not really doing much for securing Eternal Envy the farm. Whereas if they send him mid, just with that double damage rune that he happened to find, they can push the Queen of Pain out of lane, secure some additional farm for Arteezy, and build the advantage there. And that's a pretty hinged lane for both teams. Like you were saying in the draft, Uebelst needs really something going on in the mid lane if they're going to survive this mid game, because they have that Weaver in the off lane, the anti-mage safe lane. And if Puck is getting way ahead of the Queen of Pain, Puck is going to be able to roam very effectively and very efficiently, and Queen of Pain's just really not going to have the same impact.
Yeah, exactly. And then you also have got that bottom lane that's not really going amazingly well for the anti-mage. I mean, his last hit's only 9-0 even. Sorry, 10-0. He just got an extra one. Amazing. Shadow Demon actually suicides to neutral. He did that on purpose to get himself back. I mean, we already saw him having absolutely 0, so not really a surprise that he wanted to get back. But yeah, I mean, the bottom lane is not working out, the middle lane is not working out, and even though the top lane is not really going bad for them at all, even though it might be if Natural just dies here, nope, going okay. Bit of harassment here, living armor coming off from the Weaver, and he might actually be able to die if this yes, because another Shakushi in 5 seconds, Fatebot goes through, they might be able to get Natural in turn, but it is Come With Me that goes down first, and Eid gets the first blood, but right after, he will die. Natural running for his life, Eternal Envy won't be able to catch up with him, but he did get that kill. And that is actually not even that bad, okay? They gave first blood, but they didn't lose the lane just yet. So this is 2 lost lanes for Uebelst and 1 wash still.
Yeah, pretty okay for them. Could have definitely gone significantly worse. They got the first blood, they got an additional kill. So, oh no, they didn't. That was the Shadow Demon. I was like, where did that second kill take place? It was just Shadow Demon suicide and appears on the scoreboard. Yeah, but they still got first blood. They lost the Weaver, which is like somewhat unfortunate. They ended up trading Weaver for support. But Weaver got first blood before he died, so I'm sure he's not feeling too terrible about it, especially since he's not getting a lot of farm. And Armin's starting to get some farm in the bottom lane, which is going to be problematic because Eternal Envy is still not really getting much of anything.
Yeah, and I mean, Alex is having a tough lane here bottom. He is trying to juke Bone 7, who's been around the tower for ages. He's actually going to be able to get the kill. And Disruption will make sure that Anti-Mage doesn't chase around. This was a very weird kill. No TPs coming in. In the meantime, that is going to be Arteezy finally killing off the Queen of Pain, like for real this time, instead of just shutting her down. So level 7 up on Arteezy, and Queen of Pain level 5. That is massive. In the meantime, Anti-Mage having a bit of trouble. Envy actually rotating for this. Soulcatcher is on there as well. There is a living armor. Rocket Barrage will actually miss most of its damage. And Armen looking for a way out. Can't blink away though, no mana. Living armor only will be there for a little while, as the Iron Shell will actually remove... No, it doesn't remove. It's only level 3, but it doesn't remove the instances. Surprisingly so.
It goes through it, but it doesn't remove it.
Yeah. But that is, whoa, Shadow Demon. He does the same thing again, like he just wants to go home. So he suicides, surprisingly, for the second time. So now all of a sudden it looks like it's 3-on-3, but it's actually 3-on-1.
Arteezy's getting chased by Exist.
Yep, let's see if he can do something. He's actually not going to continue to chase that. His Blink is only level 1. And Arteezy would have had another orb before the Blink was up again on Exist, so he can't do anything in the end. But yeah, this is not going all too well for Uebelst here. And I mean, how are they going to get back on this?
Well, they're not really that far behind that they need to be getting back yet. It's a little bit of an advantage for KB. It feels
that way.
Yeah, mid lane is the only lane that's really going that poorly for them. Weaver's was up there alone top for a little bit now, so was able to get some last hits. And if Weaver's out and Anti-Mage are both out farming Gyrocopter, things can get pretty out of hand for KB eventually. If they have 2 carries to deal with and their carry still doesn't have much of anything, problem is Exist is going to die in the mid lane.
Oh, I wasn't there. Sorry. Say that earlier.
Yeah, I just saw the end of it too.
The Dream Coil was there to help out, and Blink Away was probably there as well, but it ticked, and then Arteezy just went after him. I mean, he is level 8 right now. Queen of Pain, X is level 6. He did pick up a Sonic Wave, so he does want to make something happen. He probably needs to teleport bottom, because it looks like KP wants to make something happen there. They still have Arteezy hanging around here. He left top lane to go bottom. It's not something that we often see. But he can do that. He knows that he is going to be ahead anyway, so why not just make sure you get maybe some fights out of it, as Bone 7 actually takes quite a bit of harassment, but with the surge is able to make it out. And
yeah,
level 6.
It's definitely somewhat unusual that they would rotate Eternal Envy down to the bottom lane farm, and he goes back up top now. That's like a really very strange decision that they're gonna say, well, I guess it's 2 melee heroes bottom, that's fine, and there's 2 ranged heroes top, so it's a little bit easier, safer for them to farm bottom lane temporarily. But at the same time, they could just send their supports top if they really wanted to secure his farm up there. He's gonna rock some pulls though, still struggling pretty heavily in this game.
Queen of Pain is in trouble as well. Lands a Sonic Wave, might be able to get a return kill here. One more hit away from getting Come With Me. He blinks forward, he's gonna die for that though. He doesn't have another blink and he'll end up going down. That's not worth it! That's just so not worth it. I mean, I'm glad that he has a kill, but giving another kill to Puck for that? That's gonna put your, like, for Queen of Pain, it probably doesn't matter that much because Queen of Pain still got that kill. But if we now check on levels, level 10 on the Puck, while the highest level on Uebelst is level 7.
Yeah, I don't... Maybe Exist thought he was dead no matter what. Bottom lane is another kill. Maybe, I mean, if Exist just thought that he was gonna die regardless, like, Puck was just gonna chase him down and get that Dream Coil off no matter what he did, then that makes sense, but I'm not really sure that's the case. I think he might have been able to blink away and get behind far enough behind the tower that maybe Arteezy wasn't able to chase.
Yep.
It's hard to say, but he went for the kill, he was able to secure it, and ends up dying anyways.
Yeah, in the meantime, of course, Shadow Demon went down, which is good news for our man, because he picked up the kill, he gets some extra gold. In theory, late game is still gonna be okay for Uebelst. If they reach it in the meantime, that's gonna be a almost dead, our man dead! That's gonna be a dead Anti-Mage, and a dead Lich as well, and a dead Queen of Pain as well, because everybody just comes in to die. I mean, that wasn't even any magnificent play from Arteezy or something. That was just weird play from Uebelst, and we see Alex running for his life. He only is level 4, doesn't have any levels in his Nature's Guise, so he won't have an escape, and he'll go down as well. That's 4 people dead on this bottom lane. The only one that managed to get out of that, or managed to at least survive, is one that wasn't in the fight, is the Weaver, who is actually getting some extra farm since he was left alone. He is the highest on net worth for his team right now. But still very far behind the Puck and the Darkseer.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem, is that those 2 solos are really just doing a lot of work here for KP, even though Eternal Envy is not really farming. With how these other heroes are doing, the Puck, the Darkseer, they're going to have a very, very strong mid game, and they can just buy time for Gyrocopter if they want to, if they even decide to do that. Gyro can just also get involved in the fights. He has AoEs, and they can force the issue. Weaver, Anti-Mage, those aren't really very strong heroes for trying to defend a tower.
Yep. It's, well, you already said, like, they are not, like, they don't have to come back just yet, but I really, like, no, I disagree. Look at that gold graph.
Yeah, things have gotten way out of control from when we were talking about it before. It was at, like, one of those spikes there, and now we could see it's all the way just dropping down. It's, like, tripled the advantage they had. And, yeah, they were doing fine in their 2 side lanes, but mid was starting to get worse and worse, and they didn't really react to try and fix it. Instead, they just moved the other support, the Lich, down to the bottom lane to help Anti-Mage a little bit more, I guess. Which is fine. You want your Anti-Mage to be successful so that he can have a good sort of 25 minutes on when he can start getting involved in fights with, like, a Manta and a Battle Fury. But if you sacrifice Queen of Pain for that, and she's your only mid-game hero, it's not really exactly what you want to be doing.
Not at all. And
what you were saying in lane is really what it comes down to. Tree was not participating really in helping the mid or the top lane. Tree was focused on keeping the Anti-Mage shield.
Yeah, and then Queen of Pain loses her lane. I mean, we had a bit of help there. I mean, Arteezy did have Rubik harassing in the mid lane for a little bit. Queen of Pain had to do it on her own, like, the whole time, and she died 4 times in the end. Arteezy able to pick up all the kills, I believe, or at least 3 of them.
Yeah, I think he missed 1 because he got that kill on anti-mage there, and he only has 4 kills.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
oh no, he has 5 kills.
He has 5 kills, 2 assists, so he's been in 7 out of the 9 kills, which is still a very good involvement rate. But, I mean, that middle lane... And it, like, okay, people go on about how Arteezy is one of the best mid players, etc. blah. It just is coming down to Queen of Pain not really playing smart and not having help from the tree. And having the Rubik there at the start. I mean that puts Puck ahead. Fine. You're gonna accept that, apparently. They were okay with that. We had no rotations, no extra living armors, etc. But then you trade a kill for yourself for the Rubik. Not really the smartest choice, so you have Arteezy even further ahead, and now he is level 11. The rest is level 8. And with the rest, I do mean the 3 cores of Uebelst, so... It's just such a big difference right now. And level 11, not just a level, is of course level 2 of his Dream Coil. Because I wasn't able to read that stat, by the way. Hope you did.
Yeah, it was saying that Arteezy is currently leading in this tournament with the highest level at 10 minutes with 11. Yeah. The next highest was 9 in any other game. That's
a big
just
difference.
Kind of a, yeah, it's a sign of what happened in this game. And you're right, it's what it comes down to is that Tree was... is this fight actually going on? No, okay. Nope. So it's what it comes down to is that...
Oh, that's KP... a Sonic Wave.
Oh, there it was.
There was a Sonic Wave. She did blow it, and she did kill off the Shadow Demon. So that's a kill that she got for free, and those kind of kills she has to find more often. Because one of them is not enough. But yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately it's on the, like, completely negligible at this point Shadow Demon. He's sitting at level 5. I guess he's doing better than the Tree, which is sad for the Tree. But otherwise, like, very, very minor in the grand scheme of what's going on in the game. I forgot what I was saying. Oh, yeah, the supports rotating towards the mid lane for KP is really what it came down to. They made sure that they won that mid lane. They recognized that that was pretty much the lane that the game was probably going to be coming down to, at least for the first 20 or so minutes. And whoever came out ahead there was going to have a huge advantage. So they sent some supports there. They sacrificed Eternal Envy a little bit more than maybe they wanted to. But in doing so, they helped Arteezy, and that put them ahead.
Yeah, and it looks like Arteezy might be able to find something here. He doesn't do anything, though. He does have his Blink. Tier 1 tower is probably going to drop. There's no fortification, and the living armor is not going to help right now. Actually, he blinks. He silences. Alex, trouble. Alex dead. That's going to be a kill going away of KP at the same time. Weaver goes down on the top lane. Rubik was able to pick up a kill with that. And surprisingly so, that was a solo kill for Come With Me. Rubik killed a solo Weaver that still had his time-lapse up.
That did happen.
That did happen.
I don't know how that happened. Another insane thing is that Puck got the last hit on that tower mid.
How did he do that?
I have no idea how he did that.
Oh, his illusions. His illusions are still there.
Oh, his illusions got it. Okay. I saw him blink forward, and I'm like, all right, Eternal Envy's gonna get the last hit on the tower, and then I saw Puck get it. I'm like, all right. I thought maybe one last attack flew back or something. I don't know.
No, it was he had an illusion rune, so that helped out. He might be able to try. He might be able to get the tower on the top lane as well, by the way. And this, yeah, it is. Oh my God, this is a fat Puck. Look at his goal per minute, 490, and we're 13 minutes into the game. That is just insane. In the meantime, the rest of his team is bottom, or at least 3 of them are. Disruption, Soul Catcher, they might be able to do something, but Armin will just blink away, gets harassed a bit by his own illusions, gets mana braked a bit. Luckily for him, he didn't spec more than level 1 in mana break, knowing what he had to deal with. But, yeah. It's still pretty grim. Exists. Is he gonna be able to carry his team? He does have 2 kills right now. He is trying to pick it up a little bit. I'm not quite sure how much he'll be able to, though.
Yeah, the problem is his kills are on the negligible heroes. Like, the only one who's really dying is Shadow Demon, I guess. There's 2 deaths and Come With Me on the Rubik as well. But all 6 deaths that KP have are on the 2 supports right now. There are 3 core heroes, none of them have died even once.
Yeah.
And they're sitting down this bottom lane now, and are they going to be able to get these kills?
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, and Blink, Dagger, very fast on the puck. Mechanism, super fast. I mean, with that extra tower gold that they're getting, Bone 7, of course, was the one that was farming
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
best next to the puck in terms of last hits for a long time, so was able to dominate. He hasn't died yet, by the way. As you already mentioned, his only supports that died. He's been involved in 5 out of the 7 kills, sorry, out of the 11 kills, rather. And those kills, I mean, we already said, like, the kills from Uebelst are on the supports. Oh, wait a second, we might have RTC in a little bit of trouble. He is, maybe able to get himself away. Nice Dream Coil, might buy his team some time to come in, and he is able to get away. Sonic Wave will not hit him! He surged, or he... Well, really not surged, he blinked away after, of course, dodging the Sonic Wave. Bone 7 looking for Exist. Can he get it? Exist blinking himself away after he sees his anti-mage already getting away. That's going to be Lich going down still. Alex goes down, and Exist, he can still blink. He has got a level 4 blink, tries a TP, and he should be okay with that. But oh my god, that was good play from the puck and sloppy play from Uebelst. Able to phase shift himself out of that out of the Sonic Wave was brilliant, and it, like, the moment that the silence and the Dream Coil went off on 4, which was of course brilliant to get for a TC, but it was poor positioning from Uebelst, they all started to walk a bit around, rather than trying to still kill off RTZ, rather than walking to the other side of the Dream Coil, and maybe get a right click in still upon him. It looks a bit awkward to me.
He bounced over with the orb pretty much
true.
immediately after. They got like a couple auto attacks on him, but no one really has a lot of attack speed right now.
But not everybody attacked. They're like, there were like 3 people just sitting around there and like, oh my god, I'm Dream Coiled. Oh my god, I'm Dream Coiled. It's like panic mode. It felt that way.
It's a scary thing. You're silenced. You're stuck on this like weird magic tether thing.
Okay, I would be scared. You're right.
I don't want that going on right now. Yeah, but that was good individual skill by RTZ to get away there. He also set up a couple kills for his team.
Yeah. And
they committed a ton to trying to kill him and weren't able to. He picks up an ultimate orb now, so he's even more difficult to kill. And just gonna kill RMN solo in the bottom.
Yeah, oh sorry, I was following Exist who was scouted out there, but yeah, double damage rune helping out, and that's an anti-mage kill. Dream Coil, of course, helping out with that one as well. And this is gonna be a hex done very soon for RTZ. Very, very soon. No towers down on the side of KP. We have the gold graph going to the 10k in favor of KP. Experience graph 7k in their favor. In the meantime, maybe now. No, Alex, trouble. Alex dead. That's gonna be a kill while he tries to get himself away from Exist. TPs himself out. Will there be a screen on a Sonic Wave? There will be a Sonic Wave, actually. Exist can throw it out if he wants to. He doesn't do it, but they do get the kill in the end. That's a godlike streak. 842 gold going away with Exist, and he desperately needs that.
I'm not actually sure what RTZ was trying to dodge there with that phase shift.
I don't know, I think it was a bit of a misclick. Maybe he thought, like, Lich was there, right? Maybe he thought Lich Ultimate was about to come.
Yeah, well, if the Lich Ultimate comes, it's gonna mini-stun you before it hits, so it would have just broke the TP, and as soon as the TP breaks, then you can phase shift. There's no reason to break your own TP. I don't know. He was probably dead no matter what he did there. That was really aggressive play by him.
Yeah.
But he got 2 kills. He took like half the, or I guess it's only a little bit. He did like 300 damage to the tower. I thought he did a little bit more than that, but he did damage to a tier 3 tower while killing the carry and a support before finally dying. Like, yeah, that's a pretty good run for him.
Yep. I agree. In the meantime, Envy, we haven't really seen that much of him, and like he has been rotated a couple of times. He's actually not got that much farm. He is lower than the Queen of Pain and the Weaver, which is kind of surprising considering they are 4 towers ahead, and you know he has got some free farm, or he should have had some free farm, but that's the power of the Lich right there, and he is building towards the Shadow Blade, almost has it ready. As we see the Weaver, the one that I just said had more farm than... Oh, what are they doing? They go for come with me, might be able to get a kill. No, he goes down before anything else. That is going to be a killing spree for the Queen of Pain. Would you look at that?
Yeah, it's good for Exist. He's starting to get back in the game.
Yeah, that's gonna be Alex dead in the mid lane. RTZ coming in by himself. Bit of a weird scream coming out from Exist, who blinked in and screamed, but RTZ was nowhere near, so awkward. And that is 8-17. And this time, of the 8 kills, one of them is on Arteezy, who was able to kill off our man again by himself by the looks of it. Or is he? No, he can't this time. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Dagon up on him, actually, the way that he is ahead right now.
It looks like he's rushing Scythe, which is probably the right play. He'll have that up in eventually pretty quick. It'll be fast. And once he has that, it's going to be terrible for Weaver.
Yeah.
One of the big things is that Weaver's actually building BKB. Not something we see a ton of. It happens from time to time. But it's kind of a sign of the times when the Weaver kills.
Why do they keep doing that? Like, why does Tree is so far ahead, like so far forward? He doesn't have the levels.
He's not far forward. He's behind. He's at a tier 3 tower.
Yeah.
That's not.
At this point, that is far forward. Yeah, by 1-7, just a bit trigger happy with this wall there. Our men will be able to stay alive. Take a lot of harassment though, and actually, whew, that was the Nova stolen by Come With Me, doing quite some damage. Come With Me has got himself a 4-staff. Yeah, you're right, the BKB, interesting build. I'm actually, like, I understand it, but I think that Uebelst really needs some damage right now, and they don't really have a damage dealer. And with the BKB up on a Weaver, he still is not the damage dealer. And the Anti-Mage right now is, like, not the damage dealer either. He is still trying to find his Battle Fury.
Yeah, it's sort of... He, like, wants the damage, but he also wants to not get crowd controlled out. And like you were kind of talking about in the draft, there's a lot of disables up on the side of KP, and Uebelst don't have, like, any.
They've got level 6
as a result, yeah, so they have the overgrowth. It's probably not going to hit the entire team, and if it does, like, then it's less that Tree played well and more that KP did something really dumb, letting themselves get 5-man overgrowth. But yeah, it's something they're going to have to deal with, and Come With Me is just killing Rubik or Lich in the bottom lane.
It was initiated by Uebelst. They thought they could go in and try to kill off Bone 7, but then Aya Shells, Telekinesis, and in the end Come With Me just finishes the Lich, who got low and all of that, and then just, you know, burst him down. I mean, Lich is actually doing quite okay. He's level 9. Not even that low on level. It is still higher than, for example, the Shadow Demon is. But yeah, he's still fairly squishy, and we are gonna see KP just taking down a tier 3 tower by the looks of it. Disruption gonna be there, making some illusions of our men, and actually look at the harassment, that's our man already dead! Here comes Arteezy, gets himself a double kill, Anti-Mage and Treant Protector, as the Weaver goes down by himself on the top lane. It was a 1 versus 1 man fight with a Gyrocopter in the end, winning that of Eid, and that's gonna be Barracks down, and I wouldn't be surprised if they call it GG, because right now, how is Uebelst gonna buy time for their team to get farm?
Well, it's going to be definitely difficult for them to come back, but their one sort of saving grace here is that for some reason KP haven't taken any other tier 2s, so they can't actually rotate around and try and take another lane, even though both carries are down. So they're going to have to back off. The bigger problem, though, is that they're way behind, and the heroes that they're behind, the Puck, the Darkseer, Arteezy has a Scythe, and there's a level 3 Necro book up on Darkseer.
Yeah.
So their pushing power is going to be insane, and the BKB is done on Weaver, but he still doesn't have a lot of health, and if he gets blink scythed by the Puck, he'll still die before he can do anything.
It is painful to watch, because we know what Uebelst needs to do, as in we know that they just need time, but we also know that KP is not gonna give it. By the looks of it.
Here comes the overgrowth.
Yeah, let's see what they can do with that. Sonic Wave does a bit of damage, but there comes the mechanism. Heal everything back off. Sonic Wave being thrown out for Come With Me as well. Lich Ultimate bouncing through Darkseer wall, doing quite some damage. It's actually Darkseer that ends up going down still, but as is the Lich, as is the Anti-Mage. 3 down on the side of Uebelst, and it will be 4 soon. There we go. The only one getting away was the Weaver, who did use his BKB for 10 seconds, but then got forced back and used his time-lapse to get back to full health as well, and that is a GG call. KP dominating game number 1.
Yeah, it was just a game that spiraled way out of control for Uebelst really, really quickly. A lot of greedy lineups, I guess, coming out today, and they're getting punished. When you're picking these multi-carry lineups that are really reliant on at least you getting some farm on a couple of these heroes, and then you don't, it's really, really hard to come back from that. So we'll see what they're going to go with next game, if they're going to try something maybe a little safer, or something that just has better laning, where you're not going to come out so far behind in the early game that it's hard to come back.
Not bank everything on one lane is already a step in the right direction, I think, as well. And I mean, this is just KP. I mean, I don't even think they needed to do too much effort. Needed to have too much effort to get this win. It felt like it was so easy.
Yeah, like Eternal Envy basically did nothing.
Yeah,
the
exactly.
entire game.
Like he has a Shadow Blade. His farm wasn't really too good either. I mean,
he got there eventually. He's up to like 420 gold per minute, right? We can see here, but that was after 20 minutes effectively, I guess like 15, where he wasn't anywhere on the map except farming in the jungle, like stacking ancients, all that sort of stuff, instead of really participating with his team. Well, his team was just winning the game for him. Arteezy played fantastic, got that advantage in the mid lane early through the help of Come With Me, and just never gave it away.
Yeah. Well, let's see if Uebelst can force out a game number 3, or if KP is going to take it 2-0. Stick around, more Corsair Gaming Summer Tournament coming soon.